Hi guys, welcome to our Reformer series. I'm Elisa Wyatt, founder of Pilatesology, and I'm going to run you through a quick tutorial on your Reformer so you know what everything is and you can understand when we're calling out names of stuff. And I'm going to go over setup as well. So this is a home Reformer. It's slightly different, not really much, than the professional classical Reformers that we use on Pilatesology. So I'm going to tell you what everything is. This is the foot bar. Down below here is where your springs, this is called a spring bar normally. I'm using, on this particular Reformer, they're bungee cords instead of springs, but yours might have springs. And by the way, this one and all of the Reformers used on Pilatesology, the big professional classical Reformers you'll see, have 4 springs. They're all equal weight. This is the classical traditional Reformer. Yours might have 5 springs with different colors and different weights. And if that's the case, go to the description of this video. There's a link there that'll tell you, that'll give you some details on exactly how to translate that. It's not hard at all. You can totally use it. It's great, but it might be a little confusing at first. So check that out. All right, so spring bar, we have, this is the carriage. It moves back and forth. Attached to the carriage, we have these are shoulder blocks, and this is a headpiece. The headpiece is, for most exercises, it's lifted up. There is a little kickstand under your headpiece that will lay it flat, and it's important to do that on some exercises, which we will tell you to do. So whenever you get to one. These are the straps. On those professional Reformers, these are usually made out of leather. In this case, they're rope, which is great too. The setting to set those up for your Reformer, you want to have them about 1.5 inches past the shoulder blocks, and or they just barely fit over the shoulder blocks when the springs are relaxed. So you don't want your springs being pulled by your things, but they just barely fit over those. And you can adjust them usually either on the strap itself or down below. These are the rails that the carriage moves in, so they'll slide back and forth inside that. Back here on this Reformer, there are risers, and those bring the straps up off of the bottom here. The higher it goes, the slightly easier it becomes. I have mine just set near the top. You can bring it lower as you progress. If you may see a difference. You'll notice that on the classical Reformers, they're down below, and there's just nothing to worry about that. And you can just leave it where it is. What else do you need to know? Oh, the box and the pole. So if your Reformer came with a box and a pole, that's awesome because it's a really key series in the classical Pilates method. If it didn't, don't worry. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it in our first workout without the box and pole, so you'll be all set. But if you have a box and pole, it's going to set up like this. Now, in the workouts you'll see on Pilatesology on a professional Reformer, the box goes over the shoulder blocks. So you'll see everybody do this with their box, and you do not want to do that if you have a Reformer for home like the one I'm using, because on those Reformers, it secures in place by these little hooks that come up. You don't want your box to move around when you sit on it or fall into the well down here. By the way, that's the well. So instead, on a home Reformer where there's nothing to hook it in place back here, you're going to place your box in front of the shoulder blocks. And that way, whenever you climb on, there's no chance of it sliding back and falling down. So there's one more element. When you have your box, you also want to make sure that you have a foot strap down here. And this foot strap came with this. I have it doubled. I'm using it two pieces. I have it all the way looped around and very securely fastened because you do not want your feet to come out of this if you're working. So I have it loose enough that I can get my feet underneath it and I can pull them away from the base of the carriage. At the very beginning, you're going to be having your feet rest on the carriage, but later as you progress, you're going to have your feet pressing really long legs and your feet pressing apart about hip distance. So that's about how tight you want your strap so that your feet can stretch under it and you can really pull them taut and not be using the carriage in the end, in the future. But at the beginning, we're going to have our knees bent and using the carriage. Okay, so you want to make sure you have that. Now again, if you don't have the strap and you don't have the box, not to worry, I'm going to show you exactly what to do when we get to that series for all of our videos, so you'll still be getting the benefits. All right, guys, that's your Reformer. If you have any questions, feel free to leave comments in the comments below, and we'll be happy to answer them.